The project sits open on your screen right now, and the cursor is blinking, waiting for you to type a single word. You rearrange your notes, check your email, and wipe a speck of dust off your desk. 3 hours pass, the sun moves across the room, and the page is still blank. You tell yourself you're lazy, or maybe you just lack discipline. But that is a lie. You work hard all day on things that don't matter, answering emails and solving problems for other people without hesitating. But this one thing, the project you actually care about, you cannot touch. You aren't paralyzed because it is difficult, you are paralyzed because it is personal. Why does your brain treat starting this specific task like stepping onto a stage naked? Psychologists often look for complex reasons for procrastination, but the mechanics are surprisingly simple. Most tasks on your to-do list are just transactions. You pay effort, you get a result, and you move on. But the work you care about carries a hidden surcharge called the meaning load. When a task carries weight regarding your identity, it becomes emotionally expensive to begin. Cleaning the garage is just labor, but writing your novel is a referendum on your soul. Your brain isn't fighting the work itself, it is fighting the massive stakes you have silently attached to the work. The moment you sit down, you aren't just doing a job, you are entering a courtroom. The first mechanism keeping you frozen is identity pressure. You have decided that the outcome of this project proves who you are. If you write code, the error message isn't just a bug, it implies you aren't smart. If you paint, a bad sketch isn't just practice, it suggests you are delusional. This transforms a simple action into a high-stakes gamble, where you bet your self-worth on a single roll of the dice. If you start and it's bad, it doesn't feel like the work failed, it feels like you failed. So your subconscious mind makes a protective move. It decides that it is safer to be a person who has potential than a person who tried and failed. A sticky note that says "start writing" is terrifying when your brain reads it as "prove you are worthy." This leads directly to the second trap, which is perfectionism. We treat perfectionism like a virtue, or at least a high standard, but in the early stages, it is just procrastination wearing a suit. It is not about quality, it's about safety. A perfect idea in your head is safe because it cannot be criticized, whereas a rough draft on the table is vulnerable. You manifest this fear by over-preparing. You spend weeks choosing the perfect software, organizing files, or watching tutorials. You convince yourself this is work, but it is actually avoidance. You are buying paintbrushes so you never have to paint. You are waiting for motivation or clarity, but those are myths. Clarity does not come before you start. It is a prize you earn only after you have begun. There is a darker reason we avoid the starting line. Before you start, your project exists in a state of infinite potential. The business idea in your head is legendary, and the fitness journey you imagine is cinematic. But the moment you take action, you collapse those possibilities into reality. Reality is messy, slow, and often disappointing. Starting forces you to pick one path and kill all the others. Not starting lets you live in the comfortable fantasy where you are already great at this. You protect the dream by keeping it theoretical. But starting is the only place where the dream becomes measurable. You have to be willing to kill the perfect version in your head to give birth to the real version in the world. These mechanisms create a loop that traps you. You care deeply, so you raise the stakes. The stakes feel like a threat, so you avoid the task. Avoiding it makes you feel shame, which raises the stakes even higher. The longer you wait, the more sacred the task becomes. It transforms from a Tuesday afternoon project into a mythical beast. Eventually, the work becomes too holy to touch with your imperfect hands. You end up mourning a project that you never even started. Breaking this paralysis requires a shift in tactics. You do not need more willpower, you need to lower the threat level. First, rename the task to something insulting. Do not write "finish chapter 1" on your list, write "produce 200 ugly words." Your brain cannot carry the weight of "prove your worth" and "do a small, ugly thing" at the same time. Second, make your start reversible. Irreversible choices trigger biological fear, while reversible experiments trigger curiosity. Tell yourself you're just testing a draft, not forging a destiny. Third, lower the quality on purpose and aim for a bad first attempt. You do not need confidence right now, you just need a version 1. A bad page can be edited, but a blank page cannot be fixed. Finally, define the first physical movement. Starting is not a feeling, it is a mechanical action. Don't think about the whole project, just open the document, type the title, and hit save. Your inner critic is useful for editing, but you must lock it out of the room for the first 10 minutes. The resistance you feel is not a sign that you are incapable. It is a signal that you have ventured into territory that matters. The fear is not telling you to stop, it is telling you that you care. The task matters because you matter to yourself. So start small enough that your nervous system doesn't revolt, then do it again. You are not blocked, you are protected. It is time to lower the shields and let the work begin.